Why did Hustlers University / War Room succeed when 99% of courses don't? And what have you learned from building that business? I want to expand on that question. I have started my course, The Creativity Kit, and it's doing well. We have 1,000 members and we just went public. A lot of people are finding that type of relationship online now because, as you talked about earlier, they're trying to separate any type of conversation. You're supposed to stay inside. You're told to be scared. Don't interact with people. Stand 6 feet apart. They're trying to get rid of regular relationships. But a lot of people are finding it in Discord communities and finding it on like people online. You met my producer earlier. I met him from a Omegle. I was doing a live stream a year ago and he popped up on Omegle. And since then, he's like the person I talk to the most in the world. So I think a lot of people find it online. You're a little bit older. Do you think that it's possible for people to find those types of relationships in communities like Hustle University and War Room? And do you think that's why it succeeds?
I think it absolutely is. And I think with running any kind of online community, the key to making it successful is not to put money or profit first. That certainly was not the model for the War Room. A lot of people joined the War Room about 3 years after, about 3 years ago. About a few months after it started, it was taking off at about 500-600 active members. My brother and myself, and a lot of people were still paying monthly for the War Room, we kicked half the members out. We looked at everyone filled in questionnaires and CVs, and we looked at everyone's profile. We spent about 12 hours sitting in a room together, and we decided to kick out half the people because we cared more about the strength and the integrity of the organization than making our little monthly subscription fee. And that's why a lot of these organizations fail, because they're happy to just have people sitting in there talking shit, bringing the vibe of the group down and the power of the group down so they can make an extra, $100 a month. With Hustlers University, that succeeded because of the War Room. What you're doing, the best advice I can give you is just deliver a great product. Just deliver a great product, because there was no way without the War Room I was going to find 18 millionaires who were going to essentially work and teach and train people and give their time away for a business that only had like 10 people inside of it and wasn't making any money. I had millionaires working for $300 a month at the beginning. So because of the War Room, I was able to deliver, a very, very good product. And I think that's the reason it's working. I think that's the reason it stays.
Why do you think 99% of courses don't last, though? They're just not a good product?
No, they're not a good product at all.
Okay.
They're not a good product at all. Most courses, courses get pirated and courses, lose their, people sell them on the internet for cheap. And, especially when you're just selling videos and PDFs and things like that. But online communities, they suck because, one, the leaders suck. So I'm not even going to mention any of them because I don't want anyone doing any research into them. But there are online communities that exist where the leaders are just like pussies and losers, and nobody wants to live their life. Nobody wants to be like them. Me and my brother call them the what's the word we use? The goof troop. Like when everyone's like, oh yeah, join my online community. It's the goof troop, bro. The leader's a nerd. He's fucking unaspirational in every way. He's got no money. So that when you're joining the leadership, you're helping him to pay his fucking rent. It's stupid. So a lot of online communities fail because of lack of leadership, and the quality of the people inside just suck. Me and my brother attract the very best minds and the very best people. We have a very high price point. We could certainly make a lot more money if the price point of the War Room was, $1,000. We'd have so many more people signing up. But if you can't make $5,000 and you don't have enough faith in me and Andrew to put that kind of money in, and if you're incapable of spending that much, maybe you're not ready for the War Room yet. Join hates you too. But a lot of these communities suck, man.
You said earlier, you kind of answered my question. You said that you believe in death before dishonor. How far would that go? How far would you go with would you die for respect? For some, there are some levels of respect you die for. I think that every man has their limit. I could get super graphic and super ice cold and tell you what some of those examples were if I could think of one. But there are things that I'd rather die than have happen. And so that means with the utmost of my capability and my manhood, I will prevent those things from happening as much as I can, even if it means me dying. Everyone knows I've got a baby daughter. Someone said I'm going to take her away, or I'll kill you. I'd certainly, it wouldn't be a binary choice, but it would certainly be in my mind thinking I've got to fight these 5 men and try and kill them because they're in my house. Otherwise, they're going to take my daughter away. Yeah, sure, I'd die in that situation with a big smile on my face as long as I can prevent that from happening. So I think that every man has his lines that he doesn't cross.
And one of those for me is don't fuck with my brother. Don't fuck with my brother, because if you fuck with him, you're fucking with me too. Who else in the world does he have but me that he can trust on the same level? So if 10 guys with knives pull knives on my brother, then fuck it, we're both dying. But I'm gonna hurt someone before I go. So yeah, I think there are lines in the sand that, you know, people simply can't cross with me. And I think every man could truthfully say the same thing if he's a man of character.
This you bringing up your baby daughter reminded me of a question somebody asked me recently in a debate. I was debating like a liberal, blue pill, I trust the government type person, and they asked me, would you be okay with your daughter dating somebody like the Tate brothers? And I paused for a while, and I was like, yeah. But then I thought back, and I'm thinking back. I can't answer the question because I'm not a father, but would you prefer that your daughter ends up with the man who is monogamous, or would you be okay with your daughter ending up with the playboy?
Well, it all depends on what you mean end up with. There are certain women I've been in my life. There are certain women I've been with in my life where I wouldn't want my daughter to be in their position. You know, we're just meeting casually. I take them out to dinner. We have a nice time, but I don't really treat them very seriously. But there have been women in my life who I've been head over heels in love with, and I've had other women on the side at certain times like this, I guess. You know, I'm over the playboy shit now, but certainly, if I met a boyfriend of one of my daughters somewhere in the future in 16, 17 years, and he was like me, I would just say, look, don't make her cry. As long as she's the main, as long as she's your main chick and she's your real girlfriend, and you haven't got some other main chick behind her back and she's just something on the side, I'd be more than happy for my daughter to date someone like me. In fact, I'd fucking prefer it, because most guys who aren't like me have something else wrong with them. I mean, you have to understand, 90% of men in the world are broken people. I wouldn't want my daughter with some nerd who's completely monogamous. Yeah, no, I don't like anyone but your daughter. He'd probably get caught with fucking all sorts of weird porn on his computer and shit. That's not the guy I want dating my daughter. The fuck? Can't defend her? Isn't a G? Can't show her a good life? Can't drive her around nice places and take her to cool restaurants and nice vacations? Fuck those people. No, more than happy for my daughter to date someone like me, as long as he's serious about her.
One thing I think that you've exposed and really opened my eyes to is how everybody accusing you of trafficking and just straight up lying every single day and trying to get you canceled for the lies that everybody in this chat has heard, is that probably it's a response to something else. Probably they got some dirt on them and they're just trying to put it on someone else because they feel a sense of guilt for doing what they did. And so they want to accuse somebody else so that they get people on their good side. Like, ladies, this one's for you.
And that's all coming out now, but it's like, you know, I'm exposing Andrew Tate. I can't possibly be some sort of sexual predator. I'm exposing Andrew Tate for consensually spanking his girlfriend who he was with for years and made 3 subsequent videos saying it was just play. You know, I'm exposing him. I can't be a bad guy. Yeah, I think that's a very big, it's a very big part of why people do this. There's a very famous story. You're probably too young to remember it. And I'm not belittling you by saying that, by the way. You are actually just too young to remember it. But it was in the United States. It was a guy named the Reverend Ted Haggard. Look him up. Ted Haggard was an evangelical Christian preacher. And Ted Haggard spent all of his time doing these huge seminars. He was friends with the President of the United States at the time, George W. Bush. And he would do these huge seminars talking about how homosexuality is wrong, how being gay is evil, how they're going to burn in hellfire. And
he was called
the male prostitute who he used to hook up with and take drugs with exposed him. And he wrote a book called I Had to Say Something. So he's just going around, you know, it's people who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones, bro. And I've got no skeletons in my closet. Believe me, as famous as me and Andrew have just become and as fast as our blow up was, if there were any skeletons in our closet,
they came out. Everybody would know about it. Yeah.
They'd be out. People would know all the dirt on me. And there just isn't any. I'm exactly who I say I am. So, yeah.
So one piece of advice. One piece of advice I think I realized seeing everybody accuse and just all the attacks on you is for the chat to really pay attention to who's accusing and who's trying to bring someone else down with accusations like that, because almost always it's them. Almost always.
When you point the finger at someone else, 3 point back at you. You ever heard that?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't necessarily want to point the finger at anyone and tell anyone that they're doing something. You know why? Because the truth is, I don't know people. When people say, like, oh, what do you think about R. Kelly doing this or Michael Jackson doing that? People have all these, you know, questions about various things, or Harvey Weinstein. My answer is always the same. I don't fucking know R. Kelly. I don't know Harvey Weinstein. Don't know Michael Jackson. Never met the motherfuckers in my life. Why would I sit here and think, oh, I think they did, I think they didn't? Try and weigh up the evidence where it's a bunch of testimony. I don't give a shit. I live my own life and make sure I'm innocent of crimes. I don't give a fuck what Harvey Weinstein was up to or R. Kelly. I don't give a fuck what they were up to. So I don't go around pointing the finger at people I don't know, because that's just dumb. If I was very close friends with somebody at one point and I found out they were doing some real fucked up shit, and I came to the defense of the people accusing and said, yeah, this guy's a fucked up person, you better believe I know what I'm talking about. So, but yeah, you know, the stuff that's coming out about some of the people that accused me, talking to girls as young as 13, that's just wrong. That's just bad. I mean, like, Andrew Tate consensually spanking a girl with a felt belt. The belt was made out of a material, by the way. And the girl coming out 3 times over the course of 6 years for 3 different videos, saying, yeah, that was just play, we like doing it. There are videos of her saying, do it harder next time. But the guy accusing was talking to a 13-year-old girl who eventually he had sex with when she was 19, and then he ghosted her. In fact, I've got something to say about that. To any of his fans, I'm going to mention him very briefly because a lot of his fans have you know, come forward to his defense and said, well, having sex with a 19-year-old isn't illegal. Now, let me tell you something. One, grooming a 13-year-old is illegal. Talking sexual things to a 13-year-old so she wants to have sex with you is illegal. No matter how long you wait, those messages are a crime. But even if, and this is a lesson to you, Sneako, because you're a young man and lots of young men watch you. Even if you're a man in your late 20s or 30s, I don't know how old Daz Black is, I think he's 30-something, and you decide to have sex with a 19-year-old, let me tell you something, you have a duty. It's not illegal to have sex with 19-year-olds, but you have a duty to not be a fucking jerk. He's talking about danger to women, even if he met this girl when she was 19. He met her, fucked her, she was a big fan of his, and he fucking ghosted her and left her in the lurch. Let me tell you something. Young women, just like young men, are impressionable people, and they're trying to learn how to navigate life. They're trying to learn how to navigate the sexual battlefield and the dating market, etc. And if you have someone who's a big fan of you, who's 18, 19, 20, 21, and she's young and impressionable, and this may be one of her first dating experiences or one of her first sexual experiences, you have no fucking right, legal or not, to fucking fuck her and ghost the bitch and leave that stain on her opinion of men and leave that stain on what she expects from the dating world. You can't do that. That's just not okay. Be polite. Take her out for a nice dinner. You know, I don't know. Fucking just be nice to her, for fuck's sake. Yeah, be a gentleman about it. And believe me, I know if you take women out and you treat them nicely and you make love with them and you're safe about it and you're a gentleman and you say, yeah, maybe I'll see you next week and you talk to them a bit and you're still polite, no woman's mad at you for showing her a great weekend. That's not the way women are. But when you get what you want, when she opens herself to you sexually and you are selfish enough to just block the bitch out of nowhere, you're a fucking piece of shit. You're a piece of shit. I don't care if it's legal or not. If you're dating young women, you better be fucking careful. Because if I meet young men, 18, 19, 20, they're hanging around me smoking cigars, I'll say shit like, whoa, don't be smoking yet, maybe. You're too young. I didn't have my first cigar till I was 28. If they get blackout drunk, I'll say, fucking control yourself when you're drinking alcohol. You have to be a good impression on the younger people. So when you're dating younger women, like this guy obviously did, I mean, messaging her at 13 was a crime, of course. But, you know, even if you slept with a girl who's 19 years of age, you have to look at it as though you're exploring a new wilderness for the first time. The people who are exploring the Amazon rainforest for the first time, or the first people who discovered the fucking Antarctic. You don't dump oil all over it and cut the fucking forest down and fuck it up, do you? No, because other people are going to come there after you, and you want it to be a nice, beautiful, healthy environment. So you shouldn't fuck with people in that way.
And now he fucked her up for probably a long time. She's going to have trust issues. She's traumatized because of him. And
I'm in contact with that girl. I'm in contact with her.
How's she doing?
And yeah, she's okay. But yeah, he's left a lot of scars, and that's not a way to treat people. You want to talk about a danger to women? You want to, even if the messaging underage girls shit wasn't real, even if it was just he liked to date 18, 19, 20-year-old women, whatever. But you want to talk about danger to women? That's still dangerous behavior.
Mm. I'm realizing now, and this sounds like a minor question, but I think it could apply to a lot of people watching. I am dealing with all of the same haters that you have. They hate me too, as subsequent, and they kind of just need someone else to hate now. And now that you guys are banned, they're all coming after me. Same thing, that the pedophile dude making comments about me. I accidentally, whatever. It wasn't as big of a back and forth, but I'm trying to realign my message and trying to like realign even my mentality when it comes to addressing the haters, because every single day there's a new video, every single day. And I'm realizing what it must have been like for you guys. And the difference is, like, I'm an online guy. I'm a YouTuber. This is my bread and butter. So I can't help but watch it. I can't help but be engaged with it. You guys would just laugh it off and you would dissect it pretty quickly. And I'm trying to realign my mentality with it and address, fight hate with love, and realize why a lot of these people are upset. Usually they're feminists, or they're weak-looking men, they're overweight, and every single person who hates me, it's just, you can just kind of look at them and understand why. So I'm trying to tell people like that like we can go to the gym together, like I could talk to you if you need some help, and I don't even want to. But what do you think is the best way to engage with those types of people? And for a lot of people watching, like they probably engage in like online YouTube comment debates, Twitter wars, Discord wars. These people constantly deal with hate on a smaller level. What advice do you have for people who are chronically online?
Jesus. You know, first and foremost, don't let any, and this is a mistake that my brother and myself made, don't let any bullshit rumors about you spiral out of control. Because you say we laughed it off. Yeah, we laughed it off. But it got big enough for YouTube to listen and to ban me. You know, you know, don't let rumors about you spiral out of control. So don't let anyone lie about you. Don't let anyone lie about you. If someone says something true about you, you know, feel free to address it. But absolutely make sure you nip the lies in the bud. And don't let people just openly lie about you and disrespect you. Because I thought the truth will prevail. But that's not the nature of the internet. Unfortunately, the truth does not prevail. Whoever's loudest and more adamant at spreading the message is going to prevail. And my haters were much louder than me. Besides that, because that was the one mistake that myself and my brother made.
Well, how do you think you could have fixed that? How could you have avoided? I thought you did everything you could have done to try to. You talked about it so much, I was getting tired of it.
Yeah, you know what? I know, but there are things that I should have done earlier. Things like sending these fat dudes like cease and desist letters. Because you could say you don't like Andrew, you could say you don't like me, you're free to talk about me. You absolutely are, but you're not allowed to sit on your YouTube channel and say, this guy is a convicted murderer, this guy is a convicted rapist, this guy is a convicted fucking shoplifter. That's just illegal, one, because it's defamation. And I should have just had my lawyer send him a letter earlier saying, shut the fuck up. Stop saying things that aren't true. You want to talk about Andrew and Tristan Tate? Insult their fucking haircuts. Insult the way they dress. Insult something else about them. Insult the way they live their lives. But don't fucking sit there and say things that are straight up false. So, you know, I should have lawyered up sooner and got these people to shut the fuck up. But I didn't. Besides that, there's no way of, you know, trying to fight hate with love, because I've reached out. I've said, look, guys, you know, I'll take you to the gym. I'll coach you. I'll help you. You're upset. I've seen the videos talking about how your penis doesn't work and how you'd like to meet women, but you can't. I'll happily talk to you and go through some of your problems with you and explain to you how to live a life that's obviously more like the life that you want to live. But they don't reach out. They don't reach out because these people are so filled with hate. You cannot beat them with love. Just address the issues towards you. Make sure no one's lying about you. And fucking ignore them.
Well, they're lying about me now. The same people that are lying about you, they're starting to lie about me. Ethan Decline and his wife, and the other one, Lasanabi. You know what I'm talking about. I don't like to say their names. You know, so they're starting to lie about me too. But the difference is they're lying to make me seem weaker, but they were lying on your name to try to make you seem like you were villains. But me, I think I won't get banned for those lies because they'll just try to bring me down. They were trying to make you seem like terrible people, where it's me like, oh, they're trying to laugh it off. So
well, it's okay, because their days of talking shit about people, and I'm not going to give any details away, but their days of talking shit about people are numbered. So they're going to learn a very expensive and valuable lesson about lying about people on the internet. So they're going to not make such a habit of it coming very soon. And that's all I can say.
That's good. I think that was probably the decision you should have made earlier. And you could see it now that they can tweet the Tate brothers are violent murderers, and it goes like 300,000 likes. It goes on the trending page. Twitter promotes it. Everybody shares it. It's woken me up how you can just say things and you could start a lie, and if so many people repeat it, it almost becomes true. To this day, it's like if enough people believe in one thing, in a sense, it's real.
Yeah. Well, what's funny is this. The truth is, weak, cowardly men like this, I can tell you how you could prove that they know they're lying. Weak, cowardly men like this, if me and my brother were Eastern European human trafficking gangsters and assassins who murder people and kidnap people and can do damage to people in the real world, and we don't give a fuck about the consequences, and we've got the politicians and the law and the police all paid for in our back pockets and we're untouchable. If they really believed this, as weak, fat cowards, they wouldn't talk shit about me. Think about it. Who in the world talks shit about that guy? They know it's false, and they're doing it for clicks. Because if I were that person, I would be a person not to be slandered and not to be spoken about in a very bad way. But what they don't know is this. I am none of the things they accuse me of. But believe me, I am that guy not to be slandered and not to be fucking talked about. And they're all going to find that out. And that's not, don't take Sneako's channel down. That's through legal, perfectly legal methods and methodologies. I'm not making any violent threats here. Because that's not who I am. But if I was that type of guy that they think I was, why would they talk shit about me? Mm-hmm. If you met a guy on the street and someone said, oh yeah, this guy's a fucking killer. He's been in and out of jail 10 times. He fucking slashed a man's throat for looking at him wrong. Would you go up to him and say, I think you're a piece of shit? No, you'd shut your fucking mouth. I'd shut my fucking mouth. So yeah. You can tell that they're lying because these guys are fat cowards who you could easily find out where these people lived if you wanted to. Why would you talk that way about Eastern European fucking assassins and gangsters and killers? You wouldn't. You wouldn't. So fuck these people. That's enough. We've given them enough of a platform.
Yeah, you've given enough energy. What do you think? Let me switch up the topic because I want to follow that. I want to believe that you could fight hate with love. And I've been talking about God more on my stream, and I think it's better for people to follow that. But I'm not sure what it is. I haven't fully decided what religion I want to join. If I do, I have a lot of a huge Christian and Muslim audience. But what do you think God is?
See, that is a very tricky question for me. That is a very tricky question for me. I initially became... So my religious story is as follows. I was a young kid. I moved to England at 8 years old. I came from Indiana. Because I'm mixed race, and African Americans are overwhelmingly Christian. I used to go to those churches with the big fat black mamas clapping and Hallelujah, singing and shit. I was the whitest man, and I was the whitest little boy in those churches when I was a kid. And I wasn't educated on religion that much. When I was 8 years old, I believed that, like a lot of people in isolated parts of the world do, that before the internet especially, that everyone believed in God and everyone knew the story of Jesus and everyone was the same religion. I had no concept of what a Muslim was. I had no concept of what an atheist was. And when I was thrown into school in the United Kingdom, I was going to school with Sikhs, Muslims, Hindus, etc. And I was like, whoa, these people believe in a God that's not God, the real one? That's fucked up. So as a young kid, I read the Bible, I read the Quran, I read the Guru Granth Sahib, the Sikh holy book, and I used to engage in debates with the Muslim kid. I remember his name was Waqas. Shout out to Waqas if you're watching this. And I used to engage in debates. I'd tell him why his religion was wrong and why mine was true, and he'd tell me why his religion was true and mine was wrong. And we'd have these debates in school, and I eventually found myself slipping into atheism. I became an atheist at maybe 12, 13 years old.
Me too.
I no longer cared for religion. And I believed that, religion wasn't for me, and, you don't need God in your life to live a very happy life. Until I started to look around at what other atheists were doing. Imagine joining a team of people, essentially, and looking around at your teammates. And you see people bragging about how many abortions they have. People with fucking purple hair talking about how being a minor attracted person, or as I like to call them, a pedophile, is a sexual orientation. And I was looking around at how atheists were behaving, and I thought, whoa. Maybe I've missed a trick. Maybe there was something to this God shit that I dismissed as a young boy. And I did further research. And I don't believe that any holy book that I've read in the world, I'm not trying to offend Christians, Muslims, Jews, Sikhs. I don't believe any holy book that I've read in the world is perfect. I believe that they're all man's interpretation of the thoughts of God, certainly. And I'm an Orthodox Christian now because I live in an Orthodox Christian country. This was the religion that was most accessible to me. It was it's where the churches are. It's where the priests are and the pastors are. I made a bunch of friends within the Orthodox Christian Church. I spend a lot of time in Dubai. I have a massive respect for Islam. I look at the way that their daughters behave, the way that they run their families. The same with Orthodox Christianity, the way their daughters behave, the way they run their families. I'm like, there's something to this. This is so much better than atheism.
Yeah.
I can't advise you on religious matters because I'm not a religious scholar.
This is not a religious question, Ed. I don't mean to cut you off.
What do I think about it? Yeah.
I don't think it's a religious question. I think it's more of a philosophical question, because my journey to finding God was pretty much exactly like yours. I grew up Christian, and then I became an atheist because I was a big debater kid, and I was like, why is the priest going to tell me all this stuff? He has no life experience. And then the same thing, I just left New York City, but New York City is a very godless place. People running around with purple hair, like literally doing dances for how many abortions they've had, and they're changing their gender. The Pride Month too is like one of the biggest sins. If you think about it, Pride is one of the biggest sins. They have a whole month to celebrate it. So there's all this godless behavior, and you're seeing how it's changed. And so I would say my journey to finding God's the same as yours. I look at religious people and I'm like, there's something to this. But I'm conflicted because I think of something like God, and I think of how religions call it, like God is the Father, and we're supposed to fear God. And even in my head, like the fact that God has a gender makes no sense to me. I think of it as a spiritual thing. So I'm wondering what you define God. I think God is everything good in the world. God is love. God is the connection between people. Is that what you think too?
God is powerful, and I know that a lot of people watching this will be atheists, so I don't want to tell anyone what to believe in, and I don't really want to talk about my own personal religious convictions that much. So let me just give a message to any atheists out there, or let me give you a message to my previous atheist self. I would certainly say this: God is powerful. God is absolutely and ultimately powerful, and whether he is real or not, before you start looking into what God is and trying to find God, look at the power of God. Look at how God influences societies, influences people, creates better people. God's power is certainly real within all of us, if you let it in. And I don't want to talk about my own personal religious convictions too much, but yeah, God is powerful, and God very much is real, whether you want to believe in him or not, because I've seen it.
It's probably
that's all I can tell you.
The best way to raise a child is with some sort of religious morals. But I just personally ask you that if you want to talk about something else. But I just personally ask about that because that's the same reason that I try to. I just see all the good that it does, and I acknowledge that as the right thing to follow. But I still struggle trying to find some sense of what is this really? What is God? But I understand.
Yeah, it's a tricky question. For me, I'm a Christian. I have a massive Muslim fan base, and I have a lot of young Muslim kids who follow me and ask me for advice, etc. And what I always say to them is this, and I mean this with all of my heart. I know Muslim religious scholars, and I am not one. I respect Islam massively. But if you want to learn about Islam, or if you want to follow Islam, I am not your hero, because I'm not actually a Muslim. I respect the fuck out of you. Let me handle the people who dislike Islam. Let me talk to the Christians and the Jews and the atheists who dislike Islam and talk them round. If you want information on your own religion and people to follow, there are millions, thousands, hundreds of thousands of Islamic scholars who know much more than me, who can educate you on your religion much better than me. I'm a Christian, I follow Christianity, and I'd rather people ask me about that. But, I love Islam, I love Christianity, and it's, atheism sucks, atheism's for nerds.
Yeah, I don't want to be an atheist nerd anymore, because that's when I feel I had no purpose, had no direction in life. And this has given me more purpose and more... I feel more alive believing in God and believing in good.
Yeah, I agree.
So follow Tate Speech on Rumble. Follow you on Getter. What's your name on Getter?
Talisman Tate.
Talisman
I'm still
Tate.
there on Instagram. I'm still there on Instagram for now, but we'll see how long that lasts. I promoted this stream on Instagram, so.
Hey, thanks for the shout out again. I gained it's crazy how much the impact you have. I gained 6,000 followers in 10 minutes from your little shout out. That's absolutely. The pull you guys have even after the cancellation is very evident, and I think they're scared. I think the big tech executives are starting to realize that they can't cancel the fan base, and it's inspiring. Especially
they're gonna have to do something because now they can't cancel anyone. It was such a high profile cancellation, and it was so big and so full force that now can they cancel anybody? If anyone on YouTube gets off, everyone's going to know. All the young men of the world are going to be like, okay, I can find that guy on Rumble. Okay, I can find that guy on Getter. That's what they're going to now know. So you know, we've opened up the floodgates. There's a crack in their armor, and we found it. So yeah, everything's going to plan. Everything's going very, very well.
You don't seem worried at all, and it's inspirational, especially because sometimes I feel stress from a lot of stuff. It's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of haters. It's a lot of dealing with the YouTube bullshit, the social getting suspended on Twitter. But seeing how you have just smoking your cigar, you literally, I could see it. Like it's not an act at all. You really genuinely don't give a fuck. And I'm gonna get to that point. And I'm gonna hold you to that millionaire party.
I told you, make $1 million in 1 year, I'm going to throw you a party. It's going to be off the fucking chain. You've seen little bits of Tate Confidential. You saw the footage from the yacht last week.
Yeah.
You know, I know how to throw a party, believe me.
I'll be there. And anything you want to plug, anything else you want to say before I let you go?
No, not really. Not really. If there's any good super chats, I'm happy to stick around and answer a few questions.
Yeah,
but,
I do.
You know,
There are some good super chats.
I set the whole night aside, so if there's any super chats, I would just say yeah.
Let's keep going, man. Let's keep going. Fuck it.
Fair enough. We'll do some super chats, but yeah, let me do my plugs before I go. Anyway, I'm gonna say, look, don't just go to Rumble to find me. Check out Rumble as a website. Don't just go to Getter to find me. Check out Getter as a website, because a lot of the people who were banned and silenced, you know, under the radar, it wasn't so high profile. You know, it wasn't such a big story in the news. People who you need to hear from, people whose opinions that you perhaps need to hear, whether they be true or false. They are on platforms like Rumble. They are on platforms like Getter. So check it out. And if you're a content creator and you feel like you ever want to talk anything about, I don't know, gender dynamics or politics or something that, you know, the big wigs at the big social media companies might hate, make yourself an account. Start streaming there, you know. I'll help you out. I'll promote you if your content's good enough. But I won't promote you unless you're my friend if it's on YouTube. Sorry. But they're gonna I don't know. I think they're coming around.